Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm outside the McDonald's Hotel at the Tickled, Trout, Preston. There's a peaceful process going on here today, so we're going to do some filming. We're going to come down and support. It's on from 1 p.m. till about 5 p.m. So I hope you all from Preston can come down and support in the surrounding areas. Peace, love. See you all later. Yes, people. Yeah, we're at the Tickled Trout, down at the McDonald's Hotel. It's 13th of September, there's a protest going on. Good turnout. Fair play to you all. People of Britain have just had enough. Look at it.
Defines a freedom in law to say something that others may be offended by. This is what it's called moot point in law, which means an issue has already been settled in court, making it no longer open for debate unless a new legal process is undertaken to challenge or overturn it. This was and is already clarified in the court of law. Also, the words I speak today, along with sound recordings, are in the public domain, hence, again, saving my butt from the potential prosecution. Right. Right. Now, can I emphasise, we are all here today to celebrate our identity and our culture, which our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers fought tooth and nail for. And a lot of them sacrificed their lives for our freedom. Now, this government seems to be unravelling it. They are complicit in the invasion of these undocumented, illegal, unvetted young fighting-age men. This event is not aimed specifically at this hotel. It is for all the hotels up and down the country. So let's just be clear about that. Now, these people in this hotel and the hotels up and down our country are living beings just like me and you. But the most important thing here is most of these men don't have the same ideology or values as us English. They just don't. Their culture, in which they were born and raised up in, is not the same as ours. The government says it's all about an integration study, and we need to help them into our country from war and persecution. And I can emphasise that this is the radicalised Islamist I'm on about, and not our. This is what I'm talking about here: the radicalised Islamist, and not our friendly Muslim community, which most of us live amongst. Most of them are good people. Most of us here today have a Muslim friend. My next door neighbour is a Muslim. I used to teach Muslim kids in my local boxing club back in the day. In fact, I would make a point in spending more time with them, so just to make them feel more comfortable in the gym. So yeah, it's not about race. So, the Afghanistan war was over 20 years ago. So if these guys helped us out back then, and they were about 20 or 30, and they're about 20 or 30 now, that would have made them around about between 5 to 15 years of age back then. Or if you could say, if it was their fathers who helped us out, then fair enough. In that case, why the hell have they left them, left their mothers, left their wives, most of all left their children, to possibly be persecuted? Yes, we will see a few kids in this hotel, granted. But you don't see kids in most of the hotels all over the country. And why the hell are the government not helping our own veterans who, in the case, or the same case as Afghanistan, risking their lives for our country? Not to forget the soldiers who lost their lives and potentially have families right now who are facing losing or even who have lost their homes due to this messed up of a tyrannical government. Not to kick off, but to fight for our rights and our country. In modern England, some expect us to accept every foreign ideology, political or religious, dictating how we run our country. But last I checked, our laws are meant to be made by a parliament, not a committee in Brussels or a radical preacher from abroad. Nobody gets to rewrite our culture just because they don't like it. Our ancestors fought in World War II to protect our democracy, not to hand it over with a smile. English law is English law. If you come here, you respect it. If you don't like it, you're free to leave. This isn't about race or religion. It's about protecting the freedoms and heritage that makes England great. In defending this makes me controversial. If defending this makes me controversial, then I'm proud to be controversial. I'd rather speak up than watch my country be walked over. But some people say protesting won't make a difference. I get that. But if we do nothing, then the elites will be very happy about that. And they will be steamrolling out their agenda twice as fast as it is right now. By doing these events, we are slowing them down. We must not let our feet off the pedal. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. And we will not stop. Something isn't right about this whole process. Again, we all know this. It seems to me that there is something more to this. I think and feel that there are more dark and secret agenda that's at play here. And all of you today, I know, are thinking the same. So we must not let this carry on. I'm having a sip of water. Us English, Scottish, Welsh and Irish don't have a migrant crisis. We have a leadership crisis. Let's stop pretending this is all about happening by accident. The boats crossing the channel aren't just slipping through the cracks. They're being waved in. Our borders are broken. They're being held open by design. We are told to shut up, sit down and be compassionate. But let me ask you this. Is it compassionate to let thousands of young unvetted fighting age men with no ID, no background checks, no ties to this country, to flood into our communities, get cushy accommodation, while our veterans sleep rough on the streets, our children being raped, touched, looked at in the playgrounds, outside our schools? Yeah, okay, that's all. Yeah, all right, it's happening over here in our own culture. We do have white men doing this sort of thing, but statistics, and this has come out of their own government website, that 78% of these crimes from 2024 to 2025 to date are committed by illegal immigrants. It's fact. And we are meant to just ignore it. Be compassionate. No, we're not going to sit back and be compassionate. Is it compassionate when they're fast tracked to free accommodation in 4 to 5 star hotels, free driving lessons, DJ lessons, for God's sake, free PlayStations? Some of our kids, in some circumstances, don't even get one plastic toy at Christmas or their birthdays. It's wrong. Free housing, free healthcare, free legal aid, and while your mum, your nan, your dad, your granddad wait 18 hours in A&E, possibly freezing to actual death, or possibly freezing to actual death in their homes, it's unacceptable. Now, whether it is Labour, Conservative, Liberals, whatever political party, it doesn't matter anymore. They've sold us out. We need our sovereignty back. Common law. And on that note, John Oakes is going to be speaking after. He knows a lot about that. You're going to learn, it's going to open your eyes a lot about common law, the Constitution. And he's here today. He's going to touch on the common law and still exists to this day. The government don't want you to know that about the common law, which for those of you who don't know about it, Oakes will blow your mind. Also, along with the meanings of the Union flag, And guys, just remember, there's QR codes scattered all over. If you find them, just scan it. This is a CCAM. Just scan that and you'll see what it's all about. CCAN, the Christian Conscience List, Alliance of Nations. You really need to look into this. But as I said, John will inform you after. So back to the government. They sign treaties in back rooms, make deals with foreign courts, then they look in your eye and say they're doing everything they can for our best interest. No, they're not. Bollocks. They don't want to. They're not interested in solving this. They benefit from chaos, cheap labour, globalist virtue signalling. More people equals more pressure, and this equals more control. While all along they fill their pockets. Most of these top leaders are worth millions, 4, 6, 8 million. How? How are they worth that much within the time they've spent in office? In some cases, just 12 months, and they're worth that much. Just mind-boggling. When you speak up to them, they call you a bigot, a racist. You're shut down by a media machine that wants you afraid and say that everyone is thinking. Let me be clear. This isn't about colour. It isn't about hatred. This isn't about law and order. This is about national security. This is about them no longer seeing themselves as accountable for their own people, when they should be, and are getting paid handsomely. What a piss take. And now over 800,000 illegal immigrants are housed in hotels across this country on your taxes. That's hundreds of millions of pounds just handed over just like that. Meanwhile, your kids' schools are overcrowded, public services are buckling, the streets don't even feel safe to walk down. They can't even afford to light up the motorways right now, but they can afford their compassionate integration plan. This isn't compassion, it's betrayal. And here's the worst bit, they know it. They've read the reports, they've seen the data, they've watched the protests up and down our lands, and they're doing nothing. Because this isn't about a policy failure, it's about policy success. This is what they wanted, to dilute sovereignty, to collapse our borders, to destabilise the nation state, and usher in a new era where everything is managed from afar by unelected bureaucrats, foreign courts, and faceless elites. While they toast champagne in Davos and Brussels, you're left to pick up the pieces. In Preston, Bolton, Rotherham, Birmingham, all over the country. Now they might see this speech as not right or correct. They'll say it's dangerous rhetoric. They'll say it's Stokes division. But do you know what Stokes division? Their lies. Their denial of truth. Their silencing of the people. So here's the truth they can't cancel. If we do not control our borders, we do not have a country. If we cannot say who comes in and goes out, we are not sovereign. We cannot speak about this without being slandered. If we can't, we are not free. And I, for one, refuse to stay silent. So now I want to explain what Islam's about. This is not about good Muslims who want and do interact with other multicultural races within our country. It's about the radicals. Islam is not just a religion, it's a lifestyle. And the main goal is to eradicate Western civilization. This is true and documented in the public domain. It's in the scriptures and has been for over 200 to 300 years. I'll play a recording after explaining this. Please, again, I'm not saying all of them, but there's a percentage of them who are, there'll be sleeper cells amongst them. That's frightening. It's frightening because, again, it's all planned, and it is. We are going to be finished if we don't do something. Like, not now, but yesterday. Just look at the UK now, for example. In 2000, in England and Wales, 7,000 reported rapes. In the year 2024, 71,000. Just 4 years later. And those aren't just ones that are reported. This is an increase of 800% now. Women are scared to walk down the street in the UK right now. The government won't listen to them. They talk about it. The government call them racist. These men do not respect women. In their culture, Islam doesn't even see rape as a crime. To be prosecuted for rape in their culture, you have to have two men witnesses that will testify that it did happen. Otherwise, the woman gets punished. Wow. The UK is sacrificing their wives and daughters for what? Diversity credit. Every single area that has welcomed mass migration has been objectively destroyed. We have taken in a massive culture that hates women, hates gays, hates the white people, hates Western civilization, and brought them into our civilization. And the government say, hey, maybe now that they're on different cells, they'll change their behaviour. They'll change their moral compass, the core values, because they move somewhere else. No, they're bringing it with them. In 2001, a study was done by a Harvard professor. He spent years on this study, hoping because he was a liberal, the outcome would be good, that diversity worked. He came to find out, oh shit, it doesn't work. His results were that people got less involved in their community when it was a mega diversity. They got less involved in schooling when it was a mega diversity. People wasn't as quick to report crime in diverse spaces. They didn't mingle well at work together. They didn't mingle well in shops together. Everything objectively fails when you try to bring too many diverse people into the same area. Not only that, but again, endless amounts of studies have shown diversity sometimes does not work because the cultures are different. So are values and so are morals. When you try and put two people, one with the Islamic religion and one from another, under the same roof, meaning a town, a city, a country, it doesn't collide, it clashes. It's costing our women and children their purity, their virginity in some cases, and even their lives in some cases as well. Guys, we really can't let our foot off the pedal. We can do this, and like I said earlier, John Hawkes will explain how. It's not been all, means, by all means, it's not going to happen overnight. But for the grace of God, something needs to be done. Violence, no. Because this is exactly what they want. So they can lock us down using martial law. Then we are fucked. Just remember the phrase, divide and conquer. That's been the case for over 300 years or more. That's how the 1%, the elites, have always controlled us. Wanting us to hate on each other, using different colour of our skin. Because if we're all as one, then we will be thinking as one. The race, one multicultural race, one human race, and most importantly, one strong race. So that's why I designed that poster down there for you to look at. Let it sink into your minds and keep it there. It's very appropriate and meaningful. It's the only way forward, believe you me. It really does spell out what we should be doing, unite. Because if we did this, the elites, the 1%, would be foot. And that is fact. These lands belong to the people of England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales, and not the politicians, not the foreign courts, not the economic migrants claiming asylum from countries they've passed through peacefully. It's time to demand proper leaders, patriotic leaders, leaders who are people for the people, and who will defend our borders, defend our cultures, protect the people, and that tell the truth to us. Because if we don't speak now, we'll have nothing to defend. We are Scottish, English, Scottish, Welsh and Irish. The English hold out their hands of friendship.
And it was leaked. Afghans who may have fought on the side of the British Army or may have fought against or whatever, but they do not belong in this country. They belong in Afghanistan. It is not safe to bring them into Britain. They did not grow up here. They was not educated here. And they do not care for this country. They care for themselves. They care for the welfare that they come for. They're the generous welfare packages. If they come to work, it's illegal work, working for Deliveroo.
It is a British establishment that will stab you in the back. Not an Englishman. The people who have created these meaningless wars are the British imperial system. I'm not a communist, I'm not a fascist, I'm not a racist. I'm an Englishman, and I'm speaking to you people in this country to understand what we stand for. We stand for peace. Peace means you must be capable of violence, but only when needed. We are peaceful. If you trigger us, we will go to war. Us patriots must take back our nations, our countries. This England, not the United Kingdom, which is a money-making corporation, by the way. Because that is what it is. These are facts. Research it, guys. We are English, not British. We are indigenous. We accept other people into our culture, but we do not accept external cultures. We do not and will not accept. Who will not accept our way of life? England, and it is even better. England is even the beating heart of the American nation, because their constitution came from England. That is why we are oppressed and suppressed by the British establishment, the corporation. The British corporation are the ones who have created these wars. They have sent our men and women into battle for them many times as cannon fodder, making millions, if not billions, in arms deals. They don't give a flying fuck about our young lads and girls going off to war. It's about making money. How many millions did you make, Mr. Blair, Sunak, Starmer? I mean, really. The people of England need to rise, and rise quick. We do not fly a Union flag. You need to bin that Union flag and raise the English flag, the Scottish, Welsh and Irish flag of your countries, along with your Shire flags. They are not only flags that we should be flying. Flags represent us, not them tyrants in London. Everyone should understand one thing: the English are a peaceful nation. That doesn't mean that we cannot use extreme violence when called upon. We will, but only if pushed, and that's only if pushed. When it comes upon us. We, as the English people, are not harmless. Harmless means we'll never fight back and you will surrender. We will never surrender. The people of this country need to know who and what we are and what we stand for. The Constitution is a solution. The English are God's nation. We are a Christian nation, and we need to stand up and fly our English flag. We need to rely on our English Constitution. And we need to rely on our English Constitution, which is God's law, and always will be, unless, of course, we let our guard down. So I'll start winding up now, guys, with this. England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland belong to us, the people. We must not forget that. Them down there, work for us, the people, and should not work for themselves with their money-making machine. Stormer, remember that. Muppet. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks very much.
It's great to see the raise the colours, but there's also something else I want to warn people about. It's recently come out that there is an ISIS terror plot to invade primary schools and nurseries and preschools and chop the heads off our children. Some of you might remember that Axel Rudakabana, the Southport stabber terrorist, was an ISIS terrorist. It came out, he had the ISIS manifesto. He was cooking up ricin in his apartment where he lived with his mum and dad. And no, he was not a Welsh choir boy, as the media pretended, as the media told us. He was from Rwanda. His mother and father was from Rwanda. So these ISIS terrorists from Afghanistan have been brought in by our criminal government, and now ISIS terrorists are planning to invade primary schools and chop the heads off children. This is a story that's come from a long-standing journalist called Active Patriot. Active Patriot has covered the illegal English Channel migrant crossings from the very beginning, since before the Boris wave. If you recall, it was the Boris wave, Boris Johnson, who brought in mass illegal immigration across the English Channel, on top of already far too high legal migration routes, visas and so forth. Active Patriot has a long history, many years, of credible journalism. He has gone into a Pakistani community in Dewsbury. Some of these Pakistanis can speak the Afghan language, and they are overhearing Afghani ISIS terrorists talking about how they're going to attack primary schools. That's where the story comes from, Active Patriot. Well, the police smashed his door up and arrested him and prevented him from giving any more stories. But it's too late. The story's out. We know now. What I would suggest is that local people get patrols around primary schools, preschools, have highly visible patrols outside primary schools. Hopefully this will prevent and deter terror attacks. I do not recommend keeping children away from school, but if we can have some patrols in primary schools, nurseries and preschools, then I think we can reassure concerned mothers and fathers and hopefully prevent a terror attack. Like I said, I'm a UK Independence Party activist, and partly the reason why I came is I want to encourage each and every one of you to get politically involved. I want each and every one of you to join or start a WhatsApp group with the comments turned off, please. With the comments turned off, so that it is a notice board for future events, future on the street events like this, or just small things like tabletops where you give out leaflets. You can have this notice board to gather your people together, your local people, because you need to build a team. Get a team behind you, and you can find someone to become the UKIP or the Advanced UK, if you like, candidate in your local elections and in the general election. We need to get our own concerned mothers and fathers elected to local councils and elected to the Parliament in London. We need our own people in there. Now, I've got a long history of activism. I was active against the COVID lockdowns, active against the fake pandemic and the poison clot shots. I never took a clot shot, and I never complied with the lockdowns. I went out whenever I wanted to. I sent back the fines that they sent me. And I warned thousands of people through leaflets, through attending events, against going along with the lockdowns and the medical fascism that they were attempting to do. Something that we only learned after the event was that many of these injections that in the middle class and well-to-do areas were saltwater injections, placebos. But in the poorer areas, they would give the poison. They would put in the mRNA poison. So that's why many people in poorer towns have been dying from these clot shots and the diseases associated with the so-called COVID-19 vaccination, which was never a vaccine. So yes, I do recognise the need for non-compliance with the government. I do recognise the need to learn about common law, learn about how to assert yourself with the legislation that exists, and to learn when it's the right time to say no, or when it's the right time to negotiate. But without getting our own concerned mothers and fathers in Parliament in 2029, what's going to happen? We have Justin Seacroft, the Britannia Hotel in Leeds, Seacroft, who has 36 reports of sexual harassment, sexual assault, just from that one hotel in Seacroft, Leeds. The same up and down this country, with every one of these criminal migrant hotels. There's already predictions coming from the highest sources, coming from the most qualified professor on the planet, from the Leeds School of Economics. Excuse me if I forget his name, but I think some of you have seen his report. He's saying that within the next 5 years we're very likely to have a civil war in this country. Now, we do not want a civil war, and I can bet you the government, Keir Starmer, does want a civil war. I can bet you that he incited the riots last year after the Southport massacre because he wants us violent and divided, and he wants us to push us into a civil war, a situation which he can win, which they can go into their bunkers. But we're not going to let them do that. But what is going to happen if all these criminals that are born in this country as well, we've seen the reports of Muslim rape gangs born in this country as well. Nobody's saying all Muslims, we're saying there's a problem in that culture. But there's also the problem of illegal migrants, criminals being imported into this country. And what is going to happen with the backlash from the public? We've already seen it with the riots last year following Southport stabbings. If we don't get involved, if we don't network locally, if we don't join UKIP, or if we don't join Advance UK with Ben Habib, if we don't get our own mothers and fathers in Parliament, in our local council, taking our country back, what's going to happen? In my opinion, we will be in a civil war situation. This is why I do not advocate for non-voting. I do not advocate for apathy. I advocate for joining a genuine party. I suggest UKIP or Advance UK. Now, I'm very happy with UKIP as a member and activist. But the problem I think we had is we've kept the same logo. The general public is confused with that logo of the pound sign and purple and pound sign. They associate with Nigel Farage in 2016. But we need to be looking forward, not looking into the past. But I'm very disappointed that UKIP has not changed its logo. It's changed. We've got the best leader that we can ever hope for, Nick Tenconi, a good, strong Christian leader. But we've got the wrong logo. We're going to change the logo soon. I feel maybe it's too late. We are growing. UKIP is growing. But I'll tell you what, Ben Habib's Advance UK is growing much faster. Ben Habib's Advance UK has got the endorsement of Elon Musk, the endorsement of Tommy Robinson, Richard Inman, many of the friends of Tommy Robinson, many of the foremost right-wing patriots and spokespeople. And it seems to stand for exactly the same things as UKIP anyway. It's just got a better image, it's more appealing to the general public. So I'm definitely thinking about joining Advance UK. I have never trusted Nigel Farage. I never joined UKIP when Farage was a leader. And I watched on aghast. And he had about 10 leaders within a few short years. Nigel Farage's mates on the NEC of UKIP got rid of Gerard Batten, the most popular ever UKIP leader. Membership tripled under his leadership. They got rid of him. Nigel Farage's men. Farage has destroyed the political careers of over 50 leaders in this country. UKIP, Brexit Party and Reform UK. We've seen recently how James McMurdoch MP and Rupert Lowe MP have been kicked out of Reform UK because they did not go along to the letter with Farage's rhetoric and Farage's plan. Those two MPs have so far been our best MPs. But the best is yet to come, ladies and gentlemen. The best is yet to come. We need Advance UK MPs in Parliament. Please join. Please network locally and build a team locally. And we can take our country back. As Nick Tenconi, UKIP leader, says, no mercy, no surrender. I believe that all the smaller parties need to fold and merge and unite. The UKIP, Britain First, all the rest of it, English Democrats, all the rest of it, Heritage UK, all the rest of it. All these different factions that have merged since the destructive influence of Farage need to merge together, and it looks like Advance UK is the best ticket to take our country back. If they can fold and just join Advance UK and we can unite together, what we need to do, I'm sorry if you're a fan of Farage, but I think you've been deceived. Farage has recently come out with a plan for deportations. He's talking about deporting 600,000 illegal migrants over 5 years. But the thing is, we've got over 2 million illegal migrants in the UK. This is not good enough. 6 months ago, he was on an interview with Steve Edgington, and he said he does not believe that mass deportations are possible. He says it's impossible to do mass deportations. He says that he will politically lose if he does the mass deportations agenda. Reform's not going to be pushed into this agenda, and if they go up against Islam, political Islam as well, we will lose. We will lose, he says. He is a cult leader. Reform UK is a cult. It's not a political party. They don't have members. They have a dictatorship with Mohammed Zia Yusuf and Nigel Farage at the very top. Mohammed Zia Yusuf bought his way into the party. In my opinion, Nigel Farage does not have any does not have any intention to become the Prime Minister. He'll just hand it to Mohammed Zia Yusuf. He is a lazy narcissist. Sound bites he's giving you. Stop the boats he's giving you. He hardly ever talks about legal migration and visas. That GB News, Ofcom, GB News, Nigel Farage cult is the roadblock in the way of the British people taking our country back. The UKIP plan is to deport at least 5 million people from this country. When we get into power, we will deport 1 million a year. All of them, all the illegal migrants, and many of the criminals. Any of the criminals that are involved in covering up for Muslim rape gangs, for example. Anyone involved in Islamic four wives marriages, bigamy, a crime in this country, deported. Anyone involved in domestic terrorism, communism, these bully groups that we see every Saturday in every city, with masks over their faces and violence, deported. First cousin marriages with children who are born into disabilities, billions spent in the NHS to treat children born to first cousin marriages, deported. This is not our culture. British culture, English culture is a Christian civilization. We need to get back to our Christian heritage and our Christian laws and enforce this across the land for all people who live here. And deport the people who are illegal migrants, deport as well legal migrants who are dependent on benefits because far too many have come here. This is a radical plan. It's not pretty, but it is what it takes to take our country back. We need radical action to save this country and take our country back. No half-hearted half measures, no false promises, no empty promises from establishment politicians. The Farage cult, Reform UK, brings in ex-Labour MPs, ex-Tory MPs, makes them Reform MPs and the candidates. They're bland, they're boring, they don't have a colourful history, they don't have real life experience, not like you, ladies and gentlemen, out here today, concerned mothers and fathers, not like you, who have genuine passion for this country. No, MPs like Sarah Potchin, bland, boring career politicians, brought back in from the Uni Party, because Reform UK is, in my opinion, a reinvention of the Uni Party. We need a radical change. I suggest we all join Advance UK. So I've talked to you today about how ISIS terrorists are planning terror attacks on primary schools and preschools, and how I suggest that we might have patrols outside of these primary schools to protect our children and reassure mothers and fathers. Hopefully deter some of the terror attacks as well. I've talked to you about Axel Rudder-Cabana and how the fascist mainstream media has lied to us about Axel Rudder-Cabana and concealed the fact that he was an ISIS terrorist, his mother and father from Rwanda, and not a Welsh choir boy. And I've talked to you about how we are having a revival in this country, a revival of our culture, English culture, our local regional cultures. I'm from Yorkshire. We're having a revival of patriotism that raise the colours. It's fantastic to see people networking, getting together. So I suggest, again, we get WhatsApp groups for our local towns, our local areas of our cities. Join people, bring people into our WhatsApp groups with the comments turned off, so there's a notice board for activism going forward. And I've also talked to you about finding leaders that you can trust, leaders that do mean what they say and have the same intention, the same vision in their heart for what Britain, what England can be once again. Elon Musk has endorsed Advance UK. Tommy Robinson and friends have endorsed Advance UK. They've reached 30,000 members within just over 2 months. I hate to say it, but they're much more popular than UKIP. But yet, what can we expect when they keep the same logo? I'm sorry. The same stupid 2016 Brexit referendum logo. The public is confused. We need to unite the right. We need to unite the whole country behind one winning ticket. I suggest it's Advanced UK. And we network locally. We build a team. You can build a team in your local area and get a candidate for local elections and the next general election. And get decent working people, decent concerned mothers and fathers elected to Parliament. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Leon. Nice one. Right, can you just introduce John Oaksy?
Researching the history of England and everything that's happened in this country for the last 1,000 years. So this is going to be a little bit of a contrast from the last guy that's just spoken. So the first thing I want to do is make everybody aware of exactly how our British identity came into existence. Okay? Just give me a small raise of hands. Anybody who knows about the marriages of the crowns over the years? Yeah, the marriages of the crowns, bringing England and Scotland together under the British title. Everybody know? Anybody familiar with that? Yeah. Okay, right. So those royals were not. They were basically immigrants, illegal immigrants to this land, and they were a knock-on effect from the Roman invasion of England. Now, my research is showing me that if we put our vote into anything that is British, he's going to go against the private men and women of these nations. Okay, so I'll just go back to the Roman Empire. Okay, so at one point in between the first invasion and the second invasion of the Roman Empire, the square mile of London, as you know it today, that is classed as the United Kingdom. But a lot of people think that the United Kingdom is a country. It's not. If you have a look on the government website, the United Kingdom PLC is merely a public limited company. It's a corporation, and it's running for profit using the legal system to fraudulently take money from all the nations and then serve its own agenda, which is, we know, has been the British Empire over the time, the illegal invasions of other countries, and we the people have all been paying for that since that day. So you'll have to excuse me a little bit because I am very nervous. I'm used to talk. I'm just used to talking to my phone on TikTok. That's it. I haven't prepared myself very well. So something else about the British identity. Okay. So the term British is in fact, it is two Hebrew syllables. Ish, Brit-ish, right? And basically what that interprets as is man of the covenant, and man of the covenant describes the relationship between God and the Jewish people. Okay? So at some point in history, as a lot of you will probably know, the Bank of England was hijacked by a Zionist agenda, namely Nathan Rothschild. Okay? So yeah, and from that day, the whole British identity has been built as a legal trap. So we are now actually hostages of a terrorist organisation that invaded these nations roughly about 900 to 1,000 years ago. Okay? So it's really, for me, it's unfortunate that people are still, how can I put this? The last thing I want to do is offend everybody, because I can see there's a lot of Union Jacks here. So you all know about the double cross. Everybody know about the double cross? So you've got the St George's cross and the Scottish cross, yeah? At that moment in time, at that moment in history, is the moment we, the people of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, were double-crossed and trapped into this legal system, which is a system of law which did not even originate in England. So then I will move on to England has its own laws, its own jurisdiction, its own constitution, and even the legal dictionaries will tell you what your constitutional rights and your common law freedoms are. If you take time to read the Bill of Rights 1688 to 1689, this document will pretty much show you that all private men and women of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales should not be legally liable to pay for anything on their own land. We have been, the deceit and the trickery that has happened to the people of these nations is, some of it has been unfathomable for me over the years, to see some of the stunts that they've pulled to get us under this, to get us all under this umbrella, all nations under one umbrella, so that they can financially extract through the legal means to fund their agenda. Now, under the laws of England, if you have a look at Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd edition, this will explain to you your constitutional rights under English law, and it will also explain your common law freedoms. Now, there is not a man and a woman in this country that should be paying for a mortgage. There is not a man and a woman in these nations that should be paying tax. We are the sovereign, we are the essence of these nations, and these nations, under common law and our constitution, is our inheritance. We own these lands, and during that Roman invasion and the false marriages of these crowns, all our land and all our properties were hijacked by, obviously, the Saxe-Gothers, who then went on to be the Windsors. Seems like we got some... So if anybody's interested, I know you've all been given a leaflet for CCAN. CCAN basically advocates for the full take back of England. We want back the full ownership of the Bank of England. We want to turn our financial system back to the credit system that it once was, and no longer a debt system, a system of debt slavery. Fiat currency, okay? We want to go back to the Bradbury pound, which was interest free. We also advocate for common law freedoms and constitutional rights for all men and women of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. I'm going to leave it there because, like I say, I've not planned anything for today. I've just turned up on a whim and just regurgitated a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about on TikTok. Now, if you're interested in hearing a little bit more, I would say follow me on TikTok, and then you'll get a lot better insight as to the nervous man that that's talking today, yeah? Okay, and I'm sure if I do this again, another one of these events in the future, I'm pretty sure it'll ease a little bit. It is at the moment, to be fair. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking to all you loving and caring people who give a shit about our nations, like quite a lot don't, obviously. And I think together, under a movement, under a national movement, we can actually rectify and get rid of the true enemies of this country, which in my eyes is the British Union. The British Union, and we also advocate to eradicate the entire political class, because under the British legal rule, under the British legal rule, it's quite clear we've had every last freedom and every last right stripped away. Okay, thank you very much for listening anyway. Cheers.
Cheers, Oxford lad. Brilliant. Fantastic. Right, we've got another gentleman. I'm just going to squeeze this other gentleman in before we come to Steve Marshall. And his name is...
I managed without it. Oh, we're back on again. All right, that'll do. Oh, is it the bottom bit? You won't believe how many times that's happened to me. Yeah, just in case you can't see me. Hello, everybody. Thank you to everybody that put this on today. My name is Geza Tariani, also known as Geza Fratman, who's been taking on the government successfully now for 12 years plus. I actually lived at Fishery Parade up at the top of the hill here, so I'm a local lad, born in Bolton, lived most of my life in Preston, and everything you're seeing now, I've been fighting for the last 12 years at least. 10 years ago, thank you, but 10 years ago, we actually won at Lancashire County Council, fighting fracking. All the 4 sites that were there. I'm going to go briefly on this because it's all about now where we are now. So I'm going to go briefly about the background. So we fought Lancashire County Council, we beat them at Lancashire County Council, and we closed Preston New Road, the application down 10 years ago this year. And then a Conservative government overruled it, and that's what's allowed at Preston New Road. So we won at Lancashire County Council 10 years ago. That was the people of Lancashire taking on a Tory government that was under fracking for 14 years. And that experience I took into the COVID, and then I took it down to Downing Street, where I took on the likes of Matt Hancock, Chris Whitty, and others. I was in court with Matt Hancock after he set me up at Downing Street, and I was found guilty of harassment when I accused him of murdering British people and our children. In court, Matt Hancock twice, and you don't seem impressed with that. I mean, you know, it's okay, he does. Have you heard of Matt Hancock? Do you know you were locked down in COVID? Eh? How many people here have lost anybody to COVID? Hold on, no they haven't. You see, it was a fraud. They locked the country down. They destroyed our communities. They destroyed our countries. They destroyed our town centres under the fraud of COVID. And I went down to London and I went, I'm not having any of that. So I questioned their experts like Chris Whitty. I questioned their experts face to face and videoed it. People like Matt Hancock, arrested 18 times to expose the COVID, and they would not take me on in court. So I'm a man of action, and you're here now because you want to be people of action. You've had enough. Have you had enough? Have you had it up to here? Have you had it up to here? Have you had enough of your tax money being spent on the police, on the hotel, for the invitation for illegal immigrants to come into this country? Have you had enough? Well, what I'm saying to you now is some of us have been fighting it for a long time, and our experience can help you right now. I don't do political parties, I don't do cults, I don't do reform, I do actions. And those actions got me arrested 18 times for taking on a Tory government. And now we're ready to take on the guy that's supposed to finish us off, and that is Mr. Cardboard, Keir Bloody Starmer. That's the reaction I want. Now what I do is, I get actions. Right now, don't fall into this. I know he is. We all know he's a wanker, but let's more concentrate about what we're going to do to get that bastard and Matt Hancock in prison. So I already had Matt Hancock in court twice, and he lied in court. The Met Police protected Matt Hancock because that's what they've got against us. They own the system. But people like me put their horses on the line to give you a shout of getting them in prison. Do you want to get Starmer and Hancock in prison? I have got, like I said, going through everything we've done, a lot of people for the last 5 years have been fighting this. We put a lot on the line because most people were not aware that this was a planned attack on our country. COVID wasn't a virus. COVID was set up to close our country down. Matt Hancock knew there would be a recession. Matt Hancock knew that we would be going to war. What are they doing now? Bloody Ukraine. The Ukraine flags have flown over Downing Street for 4 years since we went into Ukraine, since 2022. The Ukraine flag. Where is our flag over Downing Street? The politicians, Keir Starmer works for Davos, for the World Economic Forum, not for you. The politicians do not work for you. So what you've got to do now is get behind your best chance to expose these bastards and get them out of power. And the only way we do that is turn up, double the numbers next week, double the weeks, double again next week, and support the people that have been down here. Because everything starts with an idea. I knew I could beat these bastards 12 years ago. Because I knew the evidence was enough to stop them. And we did. All 4 fracking sites that had drills on them, that had already been drilled, are now back to fields. With cattle in, feeding us. That came down to good people coming together and doing something. We can wave as many flags as we want. We can say Stormer's a wanker. We could do all that. But unless we actually bring action to what we're doing and put some meat on the bone to get our country back, it is never going to happen. We were going to be silenced. They're bringing in laws now. The white British man is the lowest of the low in this country. That has to stop. And how we stop it is we turn out in our numbers and we stay until things get done. I was across from Downing Street. There used to be an official protest pen across from Downing Street, which is like a metal box. And they wanted to close us in that metal box and sterilise, keep us away from the gates of Downing Street. Well, I weaponised that. And in 2022, right up to 2023, I was there for 6 months, sleeping across the road from Downing Street, with a PA system, shoving it back to the Tories, questioning people like Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, yeah, Rich Sunak. The force from the north was taking it to the doors of Downing Street, and every single day questioning them, questioning the BBC. If you want to write this down, if you want to record this now, my name is Geza Tariani, G-E-Z-A, T-A-R for tar, J-A-N for January, Y-I at the end, Geza Tariani. I know it's a weird name, but I am Lancashire through and through. I have no fear. I have no fear of death. They can do whatever they want to me. I have had my nose broken. I was bitten on the head when I was down in London. Attacked, called a paedophile, called a thief, everything. Because they want to demonise the ones that are the strongest ones, with the biggest voice, with the biggest spines, fighting for our children and their futures. Our time is now. We don't have tomorrow. We don't have the next 4 years till 2029 for Starmer to be in and then get out in the next election. We have to rise up right now. And the best way we can do it is either in the courts, support cases like mine, or stay in London, get outside Westminster and stay there until we bring down this corrupt government. Because we could do it peaceful in numbers. We've got thousands down there today in London. I am loving what's going on here, because this here pulls resources, police resources away from London, right? Protecting them. There's something going on in the flag market. There's things like this going all over the country. We have to wise up, because it comes down to the individual. We can all talk about our groups, we can all talk about our political parties. They are all controlled. Every single one. It comes down to the individual and what you are going to do today. Will you turn up and bring a friend next week? Will we keep it peaceful? Because our numbers keeps it peaceful. Look at these guys here. And girls, I mean guys, you know what I mean? I don't want to be sexist, right? Alright, look at these. These are the faces that we are protecting the futures of. Because Starmer wants to destroy our schools, wants to destroy their minds, wants to destroy their freedoms. Freedoms that our ancestors were on the front line battling and spilling blood for years and years ago. Now, we just had a conversation before, and I want to make this absolutely clear. When we hear about the fact that we invaded other countries around the world for the last centuries, they always say the British or the English came over and invaded us. No, we didn't. We were the cannon fodder. It was the bastards up in government and the kings that wanted more. They are the enemy. They're the enemy of the people that are here now. People like me that are here now. They're the enemy. Look at your enemy. And these people that are coming over, are we the enemy? Did we take the money? Did we take all the gold, the steel, the oil, the gas? No, we didn't. These rich bastards down in London did. And they are laughing at us when we do not act and we do not get together. As you can see, I don't script my speeches because it's all in here. I have lived it. 2011, April 1st, 2011. My house was shook by the first fracking. That woke up a monster. I did not be stood on this stage years later, still fighting for my country. Been arrested 18 times in London over the COVID. Arrested at least 9 times when I was fighting the fracking. They quake when people stand up to them. When you face your enemy, they quake. Just look at how many battles Boris Johnson was an emperor because he had 80-seat majority. Good people on the back benches, and also with those MPs, so that they got rid of him. So he's not an emperor. Liz Truss, gone. Rishi Sunak, gone. And believe me, Keir Starmer right now is getting rid of people in his cabinet and his ministers, because when we put pressure on them, they fold. These are not men. These men cannot stand toe-to-toe with you and slug it out. These are cowards and wimps. So stand up, men, stand up, women, and fight for your country, because the children are what we're fighting for right now. This is our moment. This is it. There is no tomorrow. So what you're going to do today is say to yourself, what am I going to do? And don't say I'm going to do all these things, because it doesn't work that way. You're busy people, you've got families, you've got commitments, you've got jobs. Just put in what you can do. If you stick with that, then we are going to start moving forward. If you want to do something right now, I'm going to tell you how you can now make a difference right now on this stage. Achieve that day. So I'm going to tell you where I am now. Besides down at the bottom of London Road, not London Road, what are we on here? Tickled Trout. What's this road called here? Preston Road. Get off. It's a bloody big road, Preston Road, and it goes all the way down to Flaming Blackpool. That's where I was for 5 years. Anyhow, so as I've already said to you, I have had Matt Hancock in court twice. Twice. This guy that locked down the country on a fraud. He is the linchpin. He is the, you only got, what's he called, Jenga. He's that little brick, or little prick. You pull that out, the whole lot comes down, including getting to Starmer. He lied in court, and he was allowed to lie in court the second time. This was in 2023. I'm in a position now to make sure that we expose the COVID fraud that closed down our country, that cost us so much. And believe me, it was not an accident. This was not a virus that was going around the world. This was a planned attack. And there is enough evidence out there now to prove that it was. So what I'm after now is getting Matt Hancock back in court. Not just for perjury, but to bypass the COVID inquiry that is, nobody goes to prison. I want to make sure these, excuse me again, bastards go to prison. Now the video, I will put it up on my page later on. I'm on Facebook, Geza Tariani. I will put it up where I took on Matt Hancock and asked him about midazolam. I said, you were murdering our elderly with midazolam. You are murdering our people now with the vaccines. This is fact, and now over in America it is being proven. It is overwhelming. They are murdering people with these vaccines. So this is not anti-anything. This is not hate. This is not opposed to anything. This is purely to get to the truth. So if you can help me, I don't know if anybody wants to do a collection today, but I need funding now to get Matt Hancock in court. That's what we're in the process now. On my page is a crowdfunder. And we are close now to getting the right legal team that cannot be bought off, that have got a pedigree, that know what they are doing. To not only question the perjury, which Matt Hancock could serve 7 years in prison for that one thing alone. I don't want to just leave it to that. I want to get the questions in court to make sure that he absolutely ends up in prison, and he will sing like a canary. I have seen these chinless wonders face to face, and all of them run. Every single one. Question them, they run. Including the BBC. Including Sky, all of them run. All the videos are on my page, Facebook page. G-E-Z-A, T-A-R for Tar, J-A-N for January, Tar, don't ask my bloody name. I lost my friend then. I was trying to think of the next thing I was going to say. So yeah, T-A-R for Tar, J-A-N for January, and Y-I at the end, Tariani. So all the videos are on there. I'll pop the one up about Matt Hancock. Listen, I am the real deal. I've done it off my own back. I'm not part of any gang, any group, any union. I've done it on my own 2 feet. I have taken all the stuff they have thrown at me, and now, please help me, get Matt Hancock and this government, because this government will fold. This government will fold, believe me, once we get Hancock convicted in court in front of a jury. Are you with me to get our country back? Are you going to turn up next week? Are you going to bring another person next week? And the most important thing, let's keep it peaceful, because the numbers will win this. They are not the enemy. They are invited into this country by a corrupt government. That's why they are here. The enemy is who's put them there. The enemy are the ones that are not only paying for the police down here, wasting their time and not catching criminals, but also paying these people that's in here now. Many of them are illegal immigrants, and that is a crime. Can we walk in and out of prison if we're illegal? No, we're locked up. We were locked down in COVID. When you came back from your holidays, you were there for 2 weeks. How we allowed a British person to be locked down in a hotel, yet they can walk in and out of these hotels? Yeah. It's your tax. You are paying every single time. The billions going to Ukraine. The billions being paid in the COVID fraud. 37 billion on track and trace that failed. Where's that money gone? We have a 22 billion pound black hole, yet we have 37 billion wasted on track and trace and nothing for it. Labour are not asking those questions, and that's why you've got to say to yourself, if they're not asking the questions now they're in power, if they are not putting people like Matt Hancock in prison now they're in power, because remember, they're Labour and the enemy is supposed to be Tories. So you've got to say to yourself then, haven't you? What's the only logical explanation? That is, they are all the uni party. They all work for the same people. So next week, my friends, turn up again. Thank you for the ones putting it together. If anybody wants to support me, I'll be in the back here and having a wee chat with anybody who wants to ask any more questions. If you're videoing this on your channels, go onto my page, Gazer Tariani. This guy's here, look, they're filming down here. Gazer Tariani, everything's on there. My history's on there. Also on Frack Free Foul, where for 10 years I was stopping the Tory government with a handful of people. When we were fighting the FACI, we literally had a handful of people and stopped the Tory government. Now we have got millions. And if we can't stop Mr. Cardboard, Keir Starmer, two-tier Kia, right now with what we've got, then just give up, drop your trousers and take the job. All right, everybody, my name is Gazer Tariani, proud Prestonian, proud Lancashire. Let's get this job done. Hey, it's working.
The side of the legal system. Anyone you speak to in the legal system says, oh, but the Magna Carta was nullified by the Pope. Well, it turns out the Pope didn't have the jurisdiction. It wasn't signed in a church, and it wasn't signed in the palace. It was signed on the soil. It was signed in a field in Runnymede, specifically to evade the jurisdiction of the Pope. Specifically to evade the jurisdiction of the Pope. I love it when people say that I'm wrong, because they don't understand the jurisdiction that was already here, which is why the Magna Carta was signed, so that the fucking Vatican couldn't have any rule here. This further got solidified in the superiority clause in the coronation oath. This is our principle. We are ungovernable, apart from under the laws of Britain, apart from under common law. We together, only we can change things when we truly stand in our common law. It is only when we force the establishment to adhere to common law principles, will things change.
What do you know what he's talking about? Go away then. Go away. Go away then, please.
Oh well.
Go away.
Jurisdiction was being breached. It was forced, King John at the time was forced to sign the Magna Carta, which took this common law principle that every man had the same rights as the king, and changed it to even the king is accountable to the law. That is the principle in which this country is founded on. And it's specifically designed in such a way to stop tyranny from happening. However, for the last 300 years, they've taken our common law system and they've hidden it. They've tried to take our constitution and hide it from us, specifically to lose people's connection to the common law so that they can impose communism over us. Now, back in February, I ended up challenging the Cabinet Office to their de jure status to govern. And on February the 9th, the Cabinet Office acquiesced to the lack of legitimate authority to govern over us. Straight after, my missus ended up getting a speeding ticket. Well, the government had just acquiesced to the lack of legitimate authority to govern us. So I challenged Greater Manchester Police to their de jure status to police us under the senior laws of Britain. And guess what? After 4 months of back and two between myself and Chief Constable Stephen Watson of Greater Manchester Police, GMP acquiesced to the lack of legitimate authority to police us. This further became solidified as law on August the 14th, when they let their statute of limitation run out against me, further stopping them from being able to take any action against me. I told them if they want to pursue this, I will not accept a magistrate as a forum for this to be adjudicated in because of the constitutional questions at play. Greater Manchester Police ran from me with their tail between their legs because they do not have legitimate authority to fucking police us. We now need more people standing under your constitutional right to challenge the government and their authority to police over us. Because they don't have it. They've lost it. It's officially being lost on August the 14th. Now, what does this mean? The reason why I did this was because of jurisdiction. For the last couple of years, I've been penning the Act for the Common Law Sheriff's Office of Oversight and Accountability over all public bodies. Because of the failures during COVID, at every single level, we need oversight. But this case intensified when the grooming gang scandal broke. When the grooming gang scandal broke, that showed that every level of government failed our children. This included teachers, social services, the fucking police, the government, local government. Every single one of them failed in their duty to protect our children. This cannot be let to stand. We have to have oversight to ensure that these bodies do their fucking jobs. Now, what we're doing during this time, for the last 5 years, I've been putting a case together against the government about COVID and about the jabs, because they committed a crime against humanity. And it's most people, they're going back to work like nothing's happened. Do they not realise round two's coming? Do you know what I mean? People need to wake up to the fact, to this medical technocracy, and to ensure our bodily autonomy is maintained, and to ensure the bodily of our children is maintained. We need to take a stand now. Nothing is more important. If we lose this, we lose it all. They gain rights over our body. Since the mRNA vaccine has gone through, unfortunately, everybody who was being jabbed and had their DNA changed is now a fucking product. They are no longer classed as human legally. Their genetics have been changed. Were we told about this? Were we told that the vaccine was going to retranscribe DNA into the human genome within 6 hours upon contact. Were we told about this? No, we fucking weren't. They kept it away from us. They hid it all from us. To stop this from going any further, we need to take a stand together. Right now, I'm going to the King's Bench, and I'm going with the backing of CCAN, the Christian Constitutionalist Alliance of Nations. And we're going to be holding our local governments accountable under the Local Government Act 1888, Section 79, subsection 2, which clearly states that all duties and liabilities of the inhabitants of a county shall become and be duties and liabilities of the council of such county. What this means is they had a fiduciary duty of care over us to ensure that all the information was shared with all the health parties before they fucking vaccinated. They had a duty of care to ensure that the correct information was given. But a year in the knowledge that they knew it was going to cause harm, what did they do? Safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. That there is a fucking crime against humanity, and if that doesn't get people angry, what is going to wake people up? Look, we've not set the date yet, However, what I'm doing, because this is not just my case, it's not, because I was a carer and it's put down as my case, however, the remedy, it's not just my remedy. We're going in and we are demanding oversight over all public bodies. We're demanding this oversight be accountable to the jury of 12, how it's supposed to be in a common law jurisdiction. This is a common law principle that is afforded to us, which is literally written into the Constitution, how it's supposed to be. But the British government have bastardised our system of law. And what they've done, they've replaced it with a legal system, which the word legal means the undoing of God's law. If you look up the Britannica Encyclopedia 1893 and look for the definition of legal, it literally states the undoing of God's laws. The challenge that I did, I removed my consent to be governed by a government that cannot prove its de jure status under the senior laws of Britain. It also proved that the government that is there, well, they're not operating under the correct titles, signs and symbols of governance for Britain. This means we're occupied, and they are imposing foreign laws over us. We can't have this. We can't have this because what this directly does, this breaches the Coronation Oath. The Coronation Oath and the Supremacy Clause, which clearly states that no foreign body can have any jurisdiction over this land. Do people think that that's worth fighting for? Did you know that the common law actually goes back?
On day one when they came, it was probably about 20% men. It's now about 70%.
2,600 years. The common law system goes back to something called the Mollentine Laws, the laws of Mollimuntus. And our common law jurisdiction is still based on this law system, which was here for 2,600 years. You want to talk about heritage and something like that? This is a heritage that we need to protect, because if we lose this, we lose it all. I'm not joking, we lose it all. Right now, we are facing over 120 so far Sharia law councils in the UK. How many common law councils do you think there are in the UK? There's none. Not fucking one. Why? Because they've tried to hide our common law away from us. They don't want us to know about it. So the hand that tried to get a hand over us 825 years ago, which led to the writing of the Magna Carta, it's trying again now. But this time, it's using another law system to try and do it, which unfortunately is Sharia law, which is not compatible with our judicial system or our system of law. We cannot allow this to happen. The common law jurisdiction, the common law is literally written into law as the inheritance of common law. It is a living inheritance which is written into law that is in trust for you to give to the next generation. It's your responsibility to give it to the children. The government is trying to take it away from us. We cannot allow them to do this.
Lock it road, lad. Lock it road, lad.
But what's coming? People don't realise
Just
what's
blocked
coming.
road off.
If we lose this common law jurisdiction, yeah, we are going to be subject to full-blown communism. We are 2 fucking inches away from full-blown communism coming in, and it starts with the digital ID. Yeah, right. If you go onto the CCAN website, the English Christian Constitution Party, like, yeah, you will see that on the front page there is a notice that you can copy and paste off there. I've put it together. It's just been put on there the other day, and it's notice to serve the Secretary of State for Science and Technology against this system from being implemented, because it runs contrary to our common law system. We cannot allow this to come in. We've all got passports. They know who we are. It's not us. We don't need to give over anymore, like, yeah? They've got my fucking passport. That's all you're getting. The reason why they're bringing them in, yeah, is to push forward this digital ID. We need people, we need as many people together to get this notice off the CCAN website and send it to the Secretary of State and put the Secretary of State on notice. Because if they don't respond, that gives us legal grounds to push it through the King's Bench, which we are going to. We cannot allow this to happen. Now, it was stated by Sir John Fortescue, who was a Chief Justice of the King's Bench, and he was also a Chancellor of England. He stated that the Britons have maintained their own laws and customs, even during times of occupation. Which means, yeah, we can stand outside of their statutory system, because it's not the system of law. It's a legal system. It's the system which is undoing God's laws, which are written and parallel our common law system. If we lose this, we lose it all. Please, I'm begging you, we need numbers to go to the King's Bench. Because if we've got numbers and we take the Common Law Sheriff's Office of Oversight and Accountability as remedy, but not just my remedy, as the remedy of the public will, because the King's Bench is a common law jurisdiction, the government have acquiesced to the lack of legitimate authority to govern us. The government will have to argue that fact at the King's Bench. Because the government have committed crimes against humanity, against us, and are breaching our common law principles, the King's Bench will have no choice but to award our remedy and grant us the Office of Oversight and Accountability. This is one way we have of doing this, and we can only do this if we've got the numbers together through the King's Bench. It's the way of bringing in an act for the people which bypasses the corrupt politicians in Parliament. Because so far, they've proven that they don't have the authority to govern under the senior laws. And if that's the case, what this has done, it's created a jurisdictional void, which has to be filled. Because if it's not filled, something else is going to fill it. And it's at the door, and they've already got 120 fucking councils here. People don't realise how close we are to losing everything. And there's a reason why Charlie boy with his fat fingers is messing about with his dates. People are saying that he's converted to Islam. He hasn't. He hasn't. Unfortunately, he's a Zionist. However, the control system that is behind Islam is what they want. They want it. So if anybody tries to question them, or question his fat sausage fingers, he can chop their head off. Do you know what I mean? We cannot lose this power to say these things. Because if we lose it on our children's behalf, our children will never know what it means to stand in freedom, to stand in truth, to stand as the English, Irish, Scottish and Welsh Britons of this land. The reason why they're doing this, and the hand that's behind doing this, those who say they are but are not, but do lie, we'll leave it at that, is because they know. Who knows where the symbolism of the St. George comes from? It comes from Joseph of Arimathea, who was Jesus' uncle, who after the crucifixion brought the white shield with the red cross on it, and it was given to the King of Wales at that time. Now, the Druids at that time were considered, are you ready for this, a proto-Christianity. Before Christianity came here, they already had the Celtic cross. They already understood the Trinity. We're not told about this in school. Christianity arrived here 20 years after Jesus' death. Not 200 years with Roman missionaries like we are taught in school, because they are trying to erode the heritage that is already here. Now, the reason why he brought it here is very interesting though. Who knows what Cymru means? People think it means Wales. It doesn't. It means tribe of Israel. They know that we are the true lost tribe of Jacob, which is why they're trying to dilute the laws of this land. They know that if they remove this, those who say they are but are not, but do lie, will have all the power. Ooh, you're just making sure it pops. This is a heritage. It's not only worth saving, but it's worth celebrating. Our version of Christianity, which stopped the Vatican rule multiple times. It led to the signing of the Magna Carta. It led to the Bill of Rights. If it wasn't for our Christianity that was already here, we would have already been lost to the Vatican. But because of the jurisdiction that was already here, it made them, well, it was outside of their jurisdiction. So the Pope, who apparently nullified the Magna Carta 1215, guess what? He didn't have the fucking jurisdiction to do so. Which means the Magna Carta 1215, specifically Article 61, still stands in law. The Pope didn't have the jurisdiction. There was already a jurisdiction here. But it's one of them things. Some people don't want to listen. Some people don't believe it. Some people are so brainwashed, yeah, that they believe that an outside force has any jurisdiction over us. They do not, and it's literally written into law. And even the King's Bench agrees to it, that even the King, or the head of the body politic, cannot change the laws thereof. They do not have the jurisdiction to remove our common law. They do not have the jurisdiction to impose statutes that removes our common law. Especially free speech. Especially free speech. Now, a few months ago, there was a news report, a news article that I seen, and it was an 80-year-old lady who came home to find that her house had been taken by an Eastern European migrant gang. And do you know what the police said? There's nothing that they can do. The police said that there's nothing that they took an 80-year-old woman's house, and the police said that there's nothing that they can do. Well, I'm sorry, yeah? It's a common law principle, the right to your private property. If the police were acting as common law constables, they would have upheld her right to her private property. They wouldn't have aided and abetted foreign criminals from removing her property from her, saying that there's nothing that they can do. Are you fucking kidding me? Literally, this is why that was another nail in the coffin, why I started pushing for the Common Law Sheriff's Office of Oversight and Accountability. If we do not get this oversight and accountability to the jury of 12, how it's supposed to be, this country is going to get further and further in the shit. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. And people forget that Parliament govern through consent. Most people don't realise that we can remove our consent to be governed. And if we remove our consent to be governed, there is not a statute you have to fucking adhere to. Not one. Right now, yeah, I need numbers behind me. So when I go to the King's Bench and demand the Common Law Sheriff's Office of Oversight and Accountability as remedy for the crimes against humanity during COVID and all of the other shit that they're doing, especially how they failed, every government failed our children during the grooming gang scandal. Every level of government. People need to hang for this. This went on for over 40 years. Over 500,000 girls raped. What is going on? And they fucking turned a blind eye. The people who basically tried to report it were demonised. The police went after them. What? We need a body that inexpensively we can go and we can subpoena all our local officials or any CEO of any company to the jury of 12, where they will have to answer questions, and if they don't, it's 10 years in prison. The courts are already being set up now. The mechanisms have already begun to be started. This is a common law principle, and they've even actually written it into statute that we can do this. I can't remember the statute off my head right now, like. However, if we do not stand under our common law principles and stand in our common law rights as the living inheritance of this land, it's game over. It is game over. People don't realise the one thing that is holding back this global globalist movement from taking over America and us here. The one thing that's standing in the way is common law. It's the common law, the living inheritance. We are free. A common law principle, another common law principle, is that no man may tell you what you can and can't do. If you are an adult, you understand right from wrong. If you're causing loss, harm or injury to another, then you've breached common law. If you've not caused loss, harm or injury, there is not a crime. The police cannot bring a crime against you if somebody else hasn't made a formal complaint. We cannot be fined without conviction. Yet, the local governments are taking it onto their own to act as judge, jury and executioner. There is a reason why the common law principles and the separation of states are there the way that they are to ensure due process. Right now we are seeing right across this country houses being taken from people. Some of these people were thrown into positions during COVID where they couldn't afford gas or electric. They chose to heat or eat. Warrants have been issued, houses have been removed from people over this. But guess what? The warrants that are being signed are illegal. They're illegal warrants. They're fraudulent. They are fucking fraudulent warrants. Hello? They are fraudulent warrants. Our government is not acting in our best interest. Not only are they not acting in our best interest, they are pushing us down to wear us down. They want people to give in. They want people to stop fighting. I'm not going to stop fighting. The only thing that's going to stop me from bringing this in, is death. And I accept that fact. I accept that fact that this is a fucking hill I am going to die on, because if I don't, my daughter's future is going to look fucking bleak. I've got 2 children, and I refuse to let this medical technocracy come in and take over our lives. We'll talk about it. No, thank you, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Right now, the world doesn't realise how close it is to oblivion. We are literally 4 years away from oblivion. The globalist agenda, they want it complete by 2030. This is the digital IDs, the digital dictatorship, the COVID, the medical technocracy. Literally, if we do not stand together as a people, we're going to lose it all. And the future, I agree with you, we're not going to fucking lose it, because we're going to win. We're going to unite as a people. We're going to stand under the common law principles, our common law inheritance, because it's written into law as your inheritance, which means nobody in Parliament has the authority to remove a single fucking part of it. This is England. This is our inheritance, not just to us of this land, but it's also part of the Commonwealth. Every Commonwealth country is under this same jurisdiction. We need all of the Commonwealth countries to stand under their common law rights. Because if they don't, they're going to lose it. Right, what I'm going to say now, because I'm going to finish up. Thank you for listening to what I've got to say live. I've been trying for hard to ensure our freedoms in this country are maintained. Not just for my children, not just for your children, but for their great-grandchildren. Because if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it for us. Thank you. Please, I'm going to request that you join CCAN. Join CCAN. This will give me your name, and it'll give me your backing as I take it to the King's Bench as remedy for the common law sheriff's officer oversight and accountability. Thank you very much for your time, and I absolutely love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This separate union that is against the English, the Welsh and the Scottish and the Irish people. We are seeing the destruction of our churches. We are seeing the destruction of our communities and our people, our heritage. Yes, mate! Thank you. Every day, throughout time, 1381, the Peasants' Revolt, the men and ladies of this country stood together, came on London. What happened? We converged. Mate, please let me speak. We converged together, only for the king to back down. Richard II said, no, whatever you want. Then he turned it round and attacked and killed the rebels, all the people. He took it all away and then said in a speech, peasants you are and peasants you will always be. This is how these people think. In Peterloo, the Peterloo massacre, the date is on sea camp badges. People massacred for standing up together. Peaceful protest because they could not afford bread. They wanted the vote and they were set on again by the British. Stabbed, slain, murdered. And it happened again with the miners in '84. Thatcher, she wanted revenge. They set against the miners, destroyed communities. And it goes on today. We're all being separated. SECAN was set up to bring people together to make a stand against the tyranny, against the abuse that we suffer day to day. People, I implore you, join the Christian Constitutionalist Alliance of Nations movement. We are based on Christianity. Our love for our land and our people. We must stay together. This is us. Our ancestors died for this. You've heard the figures of other speakers today. Let's come together, people. Join SECAN. Become one. Join us groups. And in the movement, the biggest movement of our time, we will change everything. Thank you. God love you all. England lives.
Because you are born here, you need to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. But I want to read from the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14. It says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, and I will hear them from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. This Britain, this England has been broken. Christianity has been pushed out of our schools. It has been pushed out of this nation. I am a preacher that stands upon the streets and I preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. My friends, let me tell you this now. The banners here say enough is enough. Stop the invasion. There is an Islamic invasion of our country. There's an Islamic invasion of our shores. There are men in these hotels up and down this country that were only children when they seen conflict. Now they're coming here on boats. They're coming here illegally. And if you go on any of the social medias, you have Islamic clerics telling them how to get into the UK, how to come and take this nation. Islam was spread by the sword. And if you don't believe me, a lot of these people are coming from these nations. They're coming from nations that practice this, that believe in this. And I'm going to start quoting from their own books. Quran 2:191 says, slay the unbelievers where you find them. Quran 2:28 says, Muslims must not take infidels as friends. Quran 9:5, when opportunity arises, kill the infidels wherever you catch them. My friends, our country is being taken over. This is not about race, this is not about colour of skin. I have beautiful mixed race children. You know, people that have come here that have adapted to change. This is a Christian country, and the Islamification of this country is killing us. Let me tell you, my friends, just up in Preston on the flag market last year, I had a young Muslim man say, we cannot wait till Islam takes over because I want to behead you. This is what is happening in our country. Illegal. We can't go to their countries. We can't go on holiday to Afghanistan. We can't go on holiday to Syria because it is dangerous. But yet, they're coming in undocumented, illegally, through channels. They're rising up. They're taking numbers. But they cannot take this country if we stand united. And let me tell you this one thing right now. If you claim that you are a Christian because you were born here, then I want to challenge you today to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, to repent of your sins and come into Him, come into fellowship with Christ, come into unity and really take this kingdom back for God. You know, this kingdom is not going to change until we have a government that stand on the principles of this book, the Holy Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth, my friends. You know, I stand here proud as a proud born-again Christian. I am not Catholic. I am not Protestant. I am not a Methodist. I am a child of God. And let me tell you, it says in this book that we are all joint heirs with Christ Jesus. That means that we are adopted and grafted into the kingdom of God, and that means we are children of God. We belong to Him. It's time that we rise up. Enough is enough. It's time to stop the Islamification of this nation. I am not British, I am Welsh, and I am proudly half Welsh and half English. It is time that we stand. In Blackpool, in the Maypole Hotel, people that have come on the boats, set up a site on OnlyFans, watching women being groomed and do sexual favors to Muslim men. The security, which were Muslim, were allowing them to take British women in. This has become public knowledge. Let me tell you this, my friend, until we stand on the principles of this book, we will never ever change. Let me tell you, I have been praying for a Christian body to stand up to our government that are allowing the rape and the sale of our country, our lands and our nations. I tell you now, England is not for sale. Wales is not for sale. Scotland is not for sale. Ireland is not for sale, because this is God's country, this is God's land, this is God's nation, and I will make that stand. And who wants to stand with me? Who wants to stand with CCAN? Today I met my brothers from CCAN, and I'm going to stand with them, I'm going to join them, I'm going to promote them, because it's time that we make this country great again. And the only way we can make it great again is through Christ, is through the Word of God. My friends, I don't care about the colour of your skin. I don't care where you come from. But what I care about is if you stand with us united. It's called Great Britain. Let's put the great back in it. I am not British. I am Welsh. Britons. Let me tell you this one thing now. I've got a passport to the kingdom of heaven. I will happily lay down my life for my God. Where these people coming in will kill for theirs. It's time that we stand up to Downing Street. It's time that we stand up to they're just terrorists in there. They don't care about us. All they care about is getting rich. You know, our elderly in all of this, in this Great Britain, are having to decide whether they had a hot meal or put the heating on. Disability benefits are being cut to people, so the pensions are being cut. Why? So they can provide 4 to 5-star hotels for these people. And if there are people fleeing conflict, why are the fighting age men not there defending their nation? No, they want to come here and take over ours. It's time that we stand up and stop the invasion. It's time that we begin to become a country that prays again, that goes to church again, to stand on the word again. There is power in the word of God. There is absolute power. I know many good Muslims that I converse with. And I was conversing with a guy called Yahya from Syria. He gave his life to the Lord Jesus Christ. He renounced Islam. His family all became Christians. 7 weeks ago, people from his mosque told him, come back to Islam or die. They stabbed him 7 times on his doorstep here in Preston. 7 times. And this is a religion of peace that people say I shouldn't speak about? No. Just because he turned around and accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, they stabbed him in front of his wife and children. Praise God, he survived. And when I spoke to him, when he was in that hospital bed, he sang a song, and I know the meaning of this song. He said, I found a song, Chris. I found a song on YouTube. And he said, I love it, because I thought he was going to go back after being stabbed. And the song goes, I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. You know, the man was stabbed for the sake of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he said, I have decided to follow Jesus. My friends, as a pastor, I've been counseling former Muslims that had their children married in mosques here in Preston at the age of 9, 10, 11 and 12. This is not a religion of peace. This is a religion of control, manipulation. They're women. Do you think they look happy? They're oppressed. And we're not an oppressed nation. We are a great nation. We are Britons. And we're going to stand proud, and we're going to be loud. You know, let's get behind my brother. Let's give him numbers to go to the King's Bench. Let's go. Do you know, I'm going to say something else now. Let's not just go and sign a paper and join with him. Let's go and stand in London with him. My prayer today is that we repent and turn away from our wicked ways, and we stand up against child grooming gangs. We stand up against Sharia councils, Sharia courts. Do you know how many Sharia courts are here in Preston already? 12 here in Preston, where the police are arresting their men and sending them to their courts, not to our courts. We need to do away with the British Union. We need to stand as our own people. We need to stand as God's people, because we are little gods. We have the power. We have the authority to cancel out Islam, to cancel out child grooming gangs, anything that goes against the principles of this country, of this nation. There's men in there that agree to marry 9-year-old girls. They agree that the age of consent is puberty. There's not a religion of peace. As I've said, they've seen conflict. They've seen their parents, their uncles, their aunts die within the war in Afghanistan. And I know if that was me, I would want revenge. You know, to come into this country, when you flee any country of conflict, you must claim asylum in the first country of safety that you... What are they fleeing from when they get to Germany? When they get to Austria? They go through so many European countries to put their lives at risk to come here. The police, the cover-ups, the court cover-ups of children being groomed, raped, drugged, prostituted. When have you seen the church do that? When have you seen Christians go out and do these things in masses? And I'm not saying it doesn't happen in our own culture, because it does. Evil is evil, no matter the color of your skin or your religion. But there's a religion that is invading our shores, that it is normal, that is not a sin, but having a bacon butty is. Drinking alcohol is a sin to them. It's time that we stand up. It is time. The only thing I can take from the UKIP guy is time that we patrol our schools. It's time that we patrol our schools. Well, we're going to do it. I'm going to join them. We're going to do this in Preston. My heart bleeds for this nation. I walk around and I'm ministering to veterans that are being pushed out on the street. No help. Nothing for them. Nothing. But yet, 3 meals a day, brand new iPhones, laptops, electric bikes to go out and do Deliveroo. Guess what? There's some of them in there. They come up on their bikes. It's illegal to work without any right leave to remain in this country. My heart bleeds for this nation. It bleeds. Me, a preacher, arrested in February under the Extremism Act of religious hatred, because these people do not like to be challenged. I studied the Quran. I was a Muslim for 5 years. I studied the Quran and the Hadiths. The Quran was scary enough. When I went into the Hadiths, I got even more sick. My friends, it's time that we stand up. Stop our children being groomed, being raped, being molested. Enough is enough. We need to stop this invasion right now. And we can only do that when we stand in unity together. But we need to stand under one council, and that is the council of heaven. Not under no government. We need to stand under the sovereignty of God. Not King Charles, not Keir Starmer, not Nigel Farage, none of them. We need to stand up. One boss, and his name is Jesus. Yeshua. Jehovah Jireh, God who is provider. Another name for God is Jehovah Rapha. And my prayer is that Jehovah Rapha will heal England. He will heal Wales. There's been too much innocent blood shed. Too many children harmed. Too much control. We have the power to take everything back. You know, Daz has been down here every Sunday. I couldn't come down because obviously I'm in church preaching. But if we stand united, I've met some brothers here today that I'm going to stand with. I'm going to stand with Daz, with Charles, with CCAN. We're going to raise awareness, and we're going to take this country back for Christ. Nobody else. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for listening. But before I go, I want each and every one of you to go and begin to study. Look up on YouTube. Go to Google. Look at these things. Look at them. Study deeper. It will scare you. But you know what? Go and study this. Go and pick up the Word of God. Go pick it up. Because you know what? I was dead to life. I was horrible. I was horrible, addicted to drugs, homeless, crack cocaine, and I stand here today a businessman, a father, a husband, all because of the grace of God. I tried to get clean. I tried to get clean through government-funded facilities. They got the cure, they got the answer, but they want to keep me closed.
I went to Mines Mar when I had fucking...
But the word of God says, who the Son sets free is free indeed.
Right?
Stick you on a waiting list for 3 years.
You'll all be
You know what
free.
he said to me?
God bless.
Until you stop drinking, we can't meet you, we can't help you. And I'm like, what? I'm drinking 12 pints a fucking day because my head's fucked. You know what I mean?
Crazy, isn't it?
Like the rest of them. All the speech.